Did you know that the Bible, as we know it, is just a part of a much larger mosaic? Over the centuries, various texts were considered for inclusion in the scriptures, and some were ultimately excluded. These books are not merely ancient curiosities. They offer a fascinating perspective on what could have been. Imagine discovering writings that speak of visions and profound teachings, revealing aspects of spirituality we've never seen before. These texts carry mysteries and insights that could expand our understanding of faith and history. Today, we will delve into the books that were left out of the Bible and explore what they have to offer. These texts are like pieces of a puzzle that, even though they don't fit into the final canon, have intriguing stories and wisdom. Want to learn more about these enigmatic books and what they might reveal to us? Subscribe to the channel to follow this journey and not miss any of the discoveries we have in store for you. To better understand these fascinating texts, it's essential to take a step back and explore how the Bible was formed. The biblical canon, which defines which books are considered sacred, did not emerge all at once. It was shaped over centuries through debates and decisions made by religious leaders in various times and places. The selection process involved many criteria. Religious leaders sought texts that were considered inspired and authentic, reflecting established Christian doctrine and practice. These criteria helped determine which books were included and which were left out. The result was a Bible with a cohesive narrative centered on the message these leaders believed was most important for the Christian faith. It's fascinating to think about the debates that occurred over which texts should be accepted. The decision to include or exclude a book was not just a matter of personal opinion. It involved a deep reflection on the message and authenticity of the text in question. Thus, while some books were incorporated into the canon, others were left out, not because they were less significant, but because they did not meet these specific criteria. These excluded texts, therefore, carry their own historical and cultural value. They offer a unique perspective on the beliefs and practices of the early Christians and on the development of Christianity. By exploring these books, we can gain a richer and more complex understanding of the history of the Bible and the evolution of the Christian faith. Among the texts not included in the canon, the Book of Enoch stands out as one of the most intriguing. This book, believed to have been written between the 3rd and 1st centuries BCE, provides a detailed view of the spiritual world and apocalyptic visions. Enoch, an enigmatic figure in the Bible, is depicted as a character who received divine revelations about the fate of humanity and the cosmos. The Book of Enoch is notable for its vivid descriptions of angels and demons, and its narratives of future judgments and world transformation. Although it was highly respected in some early Jewish and Christian traditions, it was not included in the canon for several reasons. One primary reason was its theology, which, for some religious leaders of the time, diverged from the central teachings being established. Additionally, the Book of Enoch is known for its complex structure and apocalyptic style, which may have contributed to its exclusion. Apocalyptic texts often challenge interpretation and may be considered difficult to integrate harmoniously with the other books of the Bible. This challenging nature may have influenced the decision not to include it in the final canon. Nevertheless, the Book of Enoch offers a fascinating glimpse into the richness of literature and beliefs circulating among early Christians and Jews. Exploring it, we find a world of visions and symbols that enriched the spiritual understanding of the time and reveal the diversity of thoughts and doctrines surrounding sacred texts. Another fascinating text excluded from the canon is the Book of Jubilees. Also known as Little Genesis, the Book of Jubilees provides a detailed reinterpretation of Old Testament events, organizing history into 49-year Jubilee cycles. This book not only recounts biblical stories, but also adds details and interpretations not found in the traditional Bible. The Book of Jubilees is particularly interesting for its unique approach to biblical events and characters. It offers an expanded view of figures such as Abraham and Moses, highlighting aspects of their lives and missions not as emphasized in the Bible. Additionally, the book includes traditions and laws significant to some ancient Jewish communities, reflecting the diversity of beliefs and practices of the time. Despite its richness and depth, the Book of Jubilees was not accepted into the canon due to issues of authenticity and theology. Like the Book of Enoch, it contained elements and interpretations that did not fully align with the emerging doctrine that religious leaders were consolidating. Moreover, its inclusion would have added additional complexity to the canon, complicating the central message early Christians sought to convey. Still, the Book of Jubilees remains an important testimony to the diversity of thoughts and religious traditions present in early faith communities. It offers a unique perspective on how biblical events were understood and reinterpreted, enriching our understanding of religious history. Another text that raises considerable interest is the Gospel of Thomas. This Gospel, found in a 3rd century manuscript, is a collection of sayings attributed to Jesus, known as Logia. The Gospel of Thomas is notable for its distinctive approach to Jesus' teachings, focusing on enigmatic and reflective phrases, many of which differ from or are absent in the canonical Gospels. The Gospel of Thomas stands out for its emphasis on secret and spiritual knowledge, suggesting a mystical and esoteric view of early Christianity. The teachings contained within it are often interpreted as emphasizing self-discovery and inner enlightenment, contrasting with the more traditional doctrines found in the New Testament Gospels. This non-orthodox perspective may have contributed to its exclusion from the canon. Although valued by some strands of Gnosticism, the Gospel of Thomas was not accepted by those establishing Christian orthodoxy. Its emphasis on secret knowledge and personal interpretation of Jesus' teachings was seen as a threat to the unity and simplicity of the Christian message that was being consolidated. Thus, it remained outside the official scriptures, although its discovery has provided new perspectives on the diversity of thought at the time. Another text that stands out for its exclusion is the Gospel of Mary. This Gospel, attributed to Mary Magdalene, offers an intriguing view of the role of women in spiritual leadership. In it, Mary Magdalene appears as a central figure, receiving teachings directly from Jesus and sharing these revelations with the other apostles. The Gospel of Mary is notable for its approach to Mary Magdalene's role, portraying her not just as a follower, but as a significant spiritual leader. This focus on Mary and her teachings suggests a perspective that differs from the predominant narratives in the canonical Gospels, where female presence is much more limited. The exclusion of this Gospel may reflect tensions surrounding the role of women in the early church and the need to establish a predominantly male leadership. Additionally, the text discusses profound themes such as the nature of the soul and the relationship between body and spirit, bringing issues of interpretation and doctrine that might have been seen as controversial. The Gospel of Mary's emphasis on mystical and esoteric aspects contributes to its exclusion from the canon, as these elements could have been considered incompatible with the emerging orthodoxy. Nevertheless, the Gospel of Mary offers a unique and valuable view of the diversity of beliefs and practices in early Christian communities. It sheds light on aspects of Mary Magdalene's life and teachings that were marginalized or ignored by more widely accepted traditions, providing a broader perspective on the formation of Christian doctrines. Another significant book excluded from the canon is the Apocalypse of Peter. This text, dated to the 2nd century, is an apocalyptic narrative that describes visions of heaven and hell, offering a vivid and detailed perspective on the final destinies of souls. The Apocalypse of Peter is renowned for its graphic and symbolic descriptions of the final judgment, reflecting the imagination and concern with judgment present in early Christian theology. The book presents visions that include both heavenly rewards and infernal punishments, illustrating an apocalyptic scenario where divine justice is manifested dramatically and viscerally. These intense images and the elaborate details of the suffering of sinners and the glorification of the righteous underscore the importance of morality and repentance, central themes in the narrative. The exclusion of the Apocalypse of Peter may be linked to its vivid and sometimes disturbing representations of the final judgment, which might have been considered excessively sensationalist or incompatible with the message that church leaders wished to promote. The emphasis on severe punishment and apocalyptic visions might have been seen as conflicting with the tone of hope and redemption that the canonical Gospels sought to emphasize. Nevertheless, the Apocalypse of Peter offers a fascinating insight into how early Christian communities understood the concept of divine justice and preparation for the end times. It enriches our understanding of the various apocalyptic interpretations circulating at the time, reflecting concerns about the final destiny of souls and morality. In addition to the Apocalypse of Peter, there is the Gospel of the Hebrews, a text that also presents an intriguing aspect of early Christian traditions. This Gospel, which survives only in fragments, is known to have been widely used in Jewish Christian communities. It offers a perspective on Jesus' teachings that is distinct from the canonical Gospels, reflecting the context and concerns of early Hebrew Christians. The Gospel of the Hebrews is notable for its focus on the connections between Christianity and Jewish traditions. It includes accounts and teachings that highlight Christianity's Jewish roots and presents Jesus as a figure who respects and reinforces Jewish law. Some fragments reveal additional details about Jesus' life and interactions with his early followers, offering a deeper insight into how he was understood within a community maintaining a strong Jewish identity. The exclusion of this gospel may have been motivated by the need to maintain a clear distinction between emerging Christianity and Judaism. As Christianity established itself as a separate religion, there was a push to define the Christian faith in a way that separated it from Jewish traditions. The Gospel of the Hebrews, with its emphasis on Jewish practices and teachings, may have been seen as challenging this distinction. Despite its exclusion, the Gospel of the Hebrews provides valuable insight into the complex interactions between early Christianity and Judaism. It illustrates how early Christian communities attempted to reconcile their new beliefs with their previous traditions, reflecting the diversity and depth of Christianity's development. Finally, it is important to mention the Acts of Paul and Thecla. This text is a fascinating narrative about the adventures and teachings of Paul and his disciple Thecla, an important figure in early Christian tradition. The book recounts not only Paul's miraculous deeds, but also highlights the active role of Thecla, a woman who becomes a prominent preacher and defender of the Christian faith. The Acts of Paul and Thecla is notable for its focus on Thecla, who is described as one of the first women to play a significant role in spreading Christianity. The narrative provides details about her trials and triumphs, emphasizing her courage and faith in the face of persecution. This focus on Thecla underscores a more inclusive view of Christian leadership, where women have a central role. The exclusion of this book may be related to growing concerns about orthodoxy and the need to maintain certain uniformity in the narratives of the apostles' deeds. The stories of miracles and the emphasis on Thecla's role might have been seen as excessively divergent or conflicting with the established image of Paul and the church's expansion. Additionally, including a strong female figure like Thecla could have challenged the established norms of leadership in the early church. Despite this, the Acts of Paul and Thecla provides a rich and inspiring view of the diversity within early Christian communities and the figures who helped shape the faith. It reveals the complexity of religious experiences and the significant contributions made by devoted followers, enriching our understanding of early Christianity.